Welcome to the pre-launch of the International Wedding Trend Report for 2017. This report is collated and published by the International Academy of Wedding and Event Planning, who run courses for planners, stylists and designers around the world from our virtual online campuses in Australia, the UK, New Zealand, the United Arab Emirates and North America. The report is compiled in partnership with 50 plus wedding professionals and experts globally, and it's the trend bible for those in the industry to use to ensure they're one step ahead in what's going to be trending in the world of weddings for the forthcoming year and the forthcoming season. This pre-launch video is coming to you live, as you can see, from our Academy studio, and I'm so excited to give you some sneak peeks into what you're going to find in the report when it launches on January the 4th, 2017. So in the studio with me today, I've got some fabulous wedding experts that include the Academy's very own course consultant and tutor, Zoe McEwen, Pamela Dunn, luxury wedding planner and stylist, the team here from Mix and Twist with Alan, and some of our wonderful Academy students who are all going to share their insights and expertise with you. Now, we're also going to be crossing live to special guests Louise Bukes, the founder and editor-in-chief of award-winning UK wedding and lifestyle blog Beloved, and the wonderful Bennett Chapman, the founder of the UK Alliance of Wedding Planners and owner of wedding planning company Dream Occasions. So we've got lots planned for you over this special broadcast, so let's get started. Many bridal clients are very aware of what's trending thanks to social media. Now, they're hooked on platforms such as Pinterest and Instagram, as they are full of such visual eye candy. And these images they present at a consultation, so whether you like the idea of trends or not, you need to be very aware of what's trending and what's out there influencing your clients. You know, we've watched so many different trends come and go over the years, from things like bunting and balloons to chalkboards and signage. And who can forget the era of the mason jar? That still seems to be gracing our screens even now. Now, a trend is a general direction in which something is developing or changing. So today we're going to look at some of the things that have been trending and those that continue to have an influence over all that we're seeing from the runway to the tabletop. Now, one of the big things we're seeing continuing for 2017 is mixing things up, and this includes everything from metallics, textiles and patterns to seatings and tables. Tabletops are utilising mixed textiles as opposed to what used to be a predominance of just one linen pattern only. Combining brushed gold, copper, pewter and gunmetal really creates a luxurious base palette for you to then introduce any other hues, from neutrals to pops of jewel tones. Mixing up tables, such as rounds, squares and longs, is incredibly effective, and consider importing alternate seating like banquettes and armchairs along with your more traditional dinner chairs. So, to give their opinion on the fabulous trend and other emerging trends, I'm going to cross live now to Louise Bukes from UK wedding and lifestyle blog Beloved. Louise, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Excellent. Well, you've been, as you can see, you've been listening to us here in the studio about the continuing trend of mixing things up and mixed metallics that are really at the forefront of things. So can you give me your take on this trend and what's happening and what you're seeing at Beloved HQ?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've been seeing loads of gold and rose gold. They've been top of our radar for the last 18 months probably, and we're not seeing them disappearing from our screens anytime soon. Mixed metallics are the perfect representation of what brides are looking for at the moment. So they're a combination of luxury and modern, but there's a really great touch of warmth. So those gold shades and copper are really, contemporary, but not too stark and not too minimal.
Well, I love it. I just love that whole mixed metallic look. It's just so fresh and vibrant and fun. But in terms of design, what sort of design are brides really being drawn to at the moment from what you're seeing?
So most of what I'm seeing at the moment is coming from what we're calling the fine art trend. So that's very simplistic designs, and I think they're really easy to follow, and they're going to be around for a really long time. So it's about keeping things simple and elegant and curating really the most beautiful and artisanal pieces at every step.
That's a sort of, it's been a growing trend for a while, hasn't it? We've seen a lot of wedding blogs that are developing and sort of really specialising in that area. So it's good to see that sort of coming through to the fore. Do you think that's a UK trend only, or is it starting to become a global trend?
No, I think that's really a global trend, and we're seeing it on blogs from Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and the US now. So I think it's definitely a trend. I'm sort of calling it the new vintage. I think it's a look that's going to be around for a really long time.
I like that name, new vintage. That works well. I mean, another trend that we're seeing a lot of is personalisation, and that just seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So can you tell me a little bit more about that side of things?
Yeah, so for me, this is kind of goes back to that fine art movement again. So it's all about choosing those really special pieces that mean something to the couple rather than, just mass-produced items that might have their initials on. It's more about pieces that are bringing their personality out. So a couple that's obsessed with art might introduce that into their wedding ceremony and things like that. So it's a little bit more sort of subtle personalization, I think.
We've sort of gone through that whole monogram thing, haven't we, with, big monograms being projected onto the dance floor and that type of thing. So it's nice to see that they actually are getting a little bit more subtle, but they're still including them. But you feel like you actually get to know the bride and groom a little bit more, because obviously when you go to a wedding, there's a lot of cases where you might just know the bride or you might just know the groom. So by actually having something that's very personal, you feel like you've learnt something about them when you've attended the wedding.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
I really love that.
Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's what it's all about, really.
It is. It needs to be personal. It's, it certainly is a growing trend, and I don't think it's going anywhere anymore. And that whole idea of having a wedding that is traditional and has to follow a format has certainly gone out the window now. So finally, what do you think we're going to see the last of in 2017? Because as much as we're seeing new trends, there's always trends that are on the way out as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been, I think, saying and hoping for this for years, but I really hope we're going to be seeing less mason jars and bunting in weddings in 2017. I think it's starting, people are starting to realise it's more about their personalities, and there's so much inspiration, talent and creativity out there in the wedding industry. So I think brides are really catching on to that, and hopefully we'll start to see even more diversity in the world of weddings.
Let's hope so, and I second you on the mason jar thing. I really have seen enough mason jars to last me a lifetime, and I do think you're right. I think it's definitely a trend that's about to leave. And not quickly enough. Well, Louise, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure and great to hear your insights for the forthcoming season.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. So we've heard from Louise about what she's seeing trending in weddings from a design perspective, her take on the continued emergence of the mixing it up trend, and what we're going to see the last of for 2017. But what else are we seeing coming to the forefront? Well, let's ask our team of experts sat here with me in the studio. So Pam, in your job as a luxury wedding planner, stylist and designer, you see lots of different trends. So what can you tell me about what you're seeing coming up in 2017?
I'm seeing quite a lot of trends that are coming through that could be used in any environment. So things that work with anybody's style or theme or colour. Marble in particular coming through. I've seen it on stationery, through on marble cakes, which I absolutely love, and through into the styling and the decor, candlesticks and table centerpieces. Votives, it's a big trend, is marble, and I think it'll carry on through next year.
It works with so many different styles, doesn't it? Yeah. You can really integrate it well. Zoe, have you seen that type of thing coming through in the weddings that you're planning?
Yeah, it's kind of, there's a lot of that in the shops, and people get influenced by that,
Of course.
They see it in the shops, they think, it goes well with the rose gold, it's still there, the marble, those kind of slightly industrial still feel. And they see it in the shops and they want to replicate it. And it's what they like at home as well, and then they translate that into their wedding, but just a bit more.
Definitely, I think you've seen it coming through in High Street, certainly in the kitchen and things like that, and so people don't they, bring it through into their weddings, into the stationery. It looks fabulous, I really like it.
Absolutely, I mean, we all turn, don't we, to other industries for our inspiration. And, we look to the fashion industry, we look to pop culture, We definitely look to interior design.
Interior design,
yeah,
fantastic, isn't
it
it?
is,
But
and
inspiring is.
so inspiring, and they're so much forward thinking than what we are, that it's great. Whatever we see coming through there ends up coming through into the design of our weddings. Now, Zoe, I mean, you're a tutor for the Academy, and we have so many students who are so talented. Some of them sat here with me right now, and I know that a lot of them bring new trends and ideas into their assignments. So what are you seeing as a tutor from the younger generation? You know, you guys are millennials, so you're sort of at that other level. You're at the level of the clients that are getting married. So what are you seeing from them at the moment?
Our students are more creative, and we see a lot more, a wider range than perhaps you would normally see, because they're not restricted by a client necessarily, a real client that sort of says, I would like this. You know, we give them a little bit more of a free rein to try out their own ideas and experiment a bit more. And they're doing the styled shoots. So recently we've seen disco. I really love that disco wedding. I think I suggest. I said, can we have roller skates underneath? Roller skates underneath the wedding dress. That kind of, just to mix it up a little bit. The styled shoot, Wind in the Willows, Venetian masked. You know, so they're just going all over the place, being really creative. But the one thing that I've seen more of, which it sounds quite obvious, but it's kind of coming back to, is romance.
Yes, I've heard this a few times now.
Kind of just an overall adding the word romantic to whatever the, you know, I'm just seeing that a lot more, which is lovely. You know, it's what it should be.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. Now, trends influence everything around us, as we've just said, from the world of fashion and interior design to pop culture. Now, as we mentioned earlier, social media really is a driving force behind a client's vision. The key is how you take that trend and use it within the design of an event, whilst still delivering a unique interpretation. Now, my next guest is going to talk to us about how you can achieve this. Bernadette Chapman is the founder of the UK Alliance of Wedding Planners, and as I mentioned earlier, she is also owner of Dream Occasions. Welcome, Bernadette, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us this evening. Well, as you know, we're chatting about trends and how they affect us as wedding professionals. The word trend is used so much in the wedding industry, and it can mean different things to different people. So I was interested to know, how do you define the word trend? And in your experience, how does something become a trend, especially in the wedding industry?
Well, I guess trend really in its simplest form is literally something that is deemed popular. And what can quite often happen is it will spiral and then become even more popular because it's seen so often. And obviously we've seen this in the past with the vintage and the mason jars that we mentioned earlier.
Our favourite.
But a trend literally can emerge due to a film, it could emerge due to a book. And you only have to think of Downton Abbey, for example.
Oh, definitely.
And then to think of how many Art Deco type weddings that we have seen since then. So, you know, sometimes it can be due to the royal wedding. And if we think of the royal wedding and the amount of people with their weddings that now wanted trees and bringing the outdoors in.
Yeah, that was a huge influence, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. So literally, it's something that becomes popular. In order for it to become popular, the mass market, if you like, need to see it. And the places that they will see something that will become a trend tends to be TV and in the magazines that they are reading.
Definitely. And I think, you know, the key to trends is always keeping your eyes peeled. Many styles are sparked in other industries, and it's as often as easy as just, you know, checking out the latest runway shows and taking a walk through your local art gallery, or certainly in my case, flicking through an event interior design catalogue. But where do you go to keep abreast of the latest trends, and how do you conduct research for the Alliance?
Okay, I think the key is, and I know that you've mentioned this before, Kylie, is not just concentrated on one area. So you need to literally be looking anywhere and everywhere. So the obvious choices are, of course, the fashion runways and all the bridal shows. But then there is, you know, getting back to nature. It could be, you know, on a holiday where you are. It could be due to books that you've read, films that you've seen. I've had, you know, some weddings that I've designed myself where a client has just given me a postcard. And then suddenly the whole wedding evolves from just one picture on a postcard. And an event that I'm planning next year, it was just down to us having a discussion about saxophonists. And from that, yeah, and so from a video, I found this amazing, talented saxophonist in Ibiza. And from that, the theme, just evolved instantly. So sometimes you can't predict what's going to happen. It will sneak up on you.
And I think that's the sort of the proof of a really good planner, is to be able to take something like a postcard and have a whole wedding evolve from it. So fantastic. And I'd love to see the pictures of the one with the saxophonist. That sounds fantastic.
Well, yeah, that's next year.
Yeah, well, I'll be waiting to see that one. Now, I also wanted to talk to you about the impact of social media on the requests we receive from our wedding clients. You know, often these requests are trend driven and they're sourced from what they see on platforms such as Pinterest and Instagram, and they can sometimes lead to rather unrealistic ideas of what's possible and what's not. So one thing I wanted to ask you is how we as wedding professionals can really manage this sort of situation.
Okay, well, I think, the first thing that all suppliers have a duty to do to begin with is to be honest with their clients, and don't turn into what I call yes people.
Yeah.
So don't just say, yes, of course we can create that. You need to be realistic with the design. So you need to sort of explain to your client that really they need to be taking that as the inspiration, and you take that and you create something that is suitable, not just in terms of budget, but in terms of the location where the wedding is and the venue, because not all venues suit, obviously, all different themes.
No, quite.
And then it's about taking the social media inspiration sort of one step further. So in order for the clients to be more realistic in what can be achievable, is think about creating a 3D visualization for them. Think about taking the inspiration that they have seen on Pinterest or Instagram and then creating a mood board that again is more, is beautiful, is inspiring, but is achievable.
Yeah. No, that's excellent words of advice. At the end of the day, you need to take a trend and personalize it. You need to understand why the client gave you that picture in the first place. And as planners, it's our job to delve further and get to know our clients more.
Absolutely, and I absolutely adore doing that, not just with the Alliance, but also with Dream Occasions. It's about really understanding who they are as a couple, and it's really important that you're speaking to both the bride and the groom to really understand them and be just one word. And I always ask clients what's the one word they want to sum up their wedding. And I know somebody in the studio has mentioned romance, and
yes.
Absolutely,
yeah.
It used to be fun. The last couple of years, fun was the word that they used, but pretty and romantic are what people are kind of using for the next sort of year.
Well, that's interesting. It obviously shows us that these trends are happening everywhere. And I mean, much as we love the word fun, romantic, I think, is always, or romance is always going to be something we see in weddings, just purely because most girls want a romantic wedding at the end of the day. So it's nice to see that coming back and telling a story. So obviously, we've talked about how you can take a raw trend and what you can do with it when a client comes to you. Have you got any other words of advice for us, Bernadette, on how to use trends and what you think is going to be trending apart from the word romance?
Yeah, I think, I feel that clients are becoming a little bit more timeless. So don't create a design just because it's trendy. It may well be, as I mentioned earlier, that it doesn't suit them as a couple. And I've had this before where, a client has said they want a particular theme for their wedding. And I've looked at them and I've gone, I
don't see it.
No. that isn't what we're going to create for you. I want to create something that is more unique. So I guess really sort of, keep it simple, keep it personal, as Louise mentioned earlier. And don't do something trendy just for the sake of it. Be the creative, supplier that you are. So be it a florist, a wedding photographer, or a planner. You need to bring your creativity and your uniqueness into that client's wedding.
That is fantastic advice. Thank you for that, Bernadette. And thank you so much for joining us. It really has been great to chat with you. And remember, for those of you in the UK, Bernadette does run the Alliance of Wedding Planners, which is a fantastic membership-based resource, not just for the novice planner, but also for the experienced planner as well. Thank you, Bernadette.
My pleasure, Kylie.
Speak to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Now, trends aren't just confined to the design of weddings and events, but they're also in the way that we run and market our business. Now, our brands react to the latest trends in website design, marketing collateral, and social media. So, what's the next social platform or idea that we're going to see explode in 2017? Well, that's a good question. And I don't think it's so much about a new platform, but more about which one that your bridal couples are going to be using to showcase their wedding. This is so important, as that's your chance to get in some great marketing and PR, but you need to know and understand how your clients are using that platform in the first place. So, which platform am I talking about? Well, engaged couples don't just like, they love Snapchat. Snapchat is the quickest growing social media site, and it's the favourite site of many of your current and future couples. In fact, it's the new top social site in growth this year, and 10 billion photos and videos are being shared on it daily. As social sharing moves more and more visual than ever before, with video growing in more importance and that type of thing, getting comfortable on on social sites like this, like Snapchat, is so important. One of the biggest social trends we've seen this year is that many weddings are getting shared live on Snapchat. From venue details to behind the scenes at the wedding party to the reception celebrations and speeches, couples and their guests are sharing the full wedding experience with their followers. Now, if you haven't set up a Snapchat account, I really do encourage you to give it a try. If you'd like to start posting on Snapchat for your business, focus on becoming a storyteller for your business and really authentically capture content in the moment. Try sharing behind the scenes photos and videos of your wedding prep, peeks at your daily lives, and of course, that beautiful finished product of your work. So to grow a following, cross-promote your Snapchat account across all your other marketing materials and of course, your other social channels. So there you have it. That's our pick for the social media channel that's going to be big in 2017. Well, it's been a big night here in the studio as we've streamed the very first live TV show for the wedding industry across multiple social media platforms. So I think it's time to celebrate with a cocktail, which leads me nicely onto my next guest, Mix and Twist. Alan, welcome to the studio. Now, you guys do Mixology, and this has been huge in weddings, not just for next year and this year, but for quite a few years now. So I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about Mixology, how it works, and how you sort of whip up these great cocktails.
I personally think Mixology is a kind of a mix between science and theatre. What you have to do when making a drink is take that core product and build something around it. So you're looking to choose things that mix well, the same as you would do with a dress and the rest of the wedding. You pick the core meaning, so whether it be a spirit that connects to the couple or a particular flavour that connects to the couple, that sort of, as you said before, being a personal touch that brings them together, and then you build the drink around it.
So you're telling a story with the drink, essentially, aren't you?
With the drink, and when you're making the drink, in some cases as well, you're sort of performing a theatre as such, as building it, there's all the stages.
It's entertainment as well, isn't it?
As well, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. So, obviously you've brought some stuff in here with you today, but what trends are you seeing emerging in mixology and cocktails for 2017?
Well, as I say, the theatre behind it is becoming more and more appealing. People are wanting to see all the stages of the cocktail. It used to be quickly you bang out a drink and walk away, whereas now there's stages, there's building. You ordered a gin and tonic 10 years ago and it was a bit wash out. You order one now and there's the lime, there's the in this case there would be lavender and lemon, there would be cucumber in different gins and so on and so forth.
Oh, stop it. It's been a long day. I could really do with a G&T right now.
So some of the trends that I've seen coming forward is the traditional reception drinks of champagne are turning into cocktails, because we're finding more and more people like cocktails over champagne or Prosecco. We're finding that it can be more personal as well, so obviously if you have a signature drink for the couple themselves, that can be their drink for the reception. We've also been asked on occasion for, instead of favours, to have a cocktail for the actual flavour as well, which is a different idea.
As in like a takeaway cocktail?
As a takeaway cocktail.
And do you present those in sort of different little containers for them to be able to take away and that type of thing? Because
Yeah.
I've heard it's all about the vessel as well.
Yes, it's about the vessel as well. Again, it's the whole thing. Everything is important, from the ingredients to what the actual the glass that it's in as well.
Yeah, it's a real presentation thing, and it just goes back to that whole telling the story thing, doesn't it? From, as you say, from the drama and the actual creation to the final presentation in whatever it is that you're using.
Yeah.
Well, my final question to you is, we're here, we're talking wedding trends. What cocktail would you make for us here at the Wedding Trend Report pre-launch?
This one, I've chosen a gin violet. So this one always reminds me of, personally, of my gran, who came to my wedding, and she loved it. She always forgets that it was there, but she was there. But it's her birthday today.
Happy birthday to your gran!
This one sort of has a faint taste of sort of Parma violets.
Oh, do I get to taste it?
You do get to taste it. I'll make it now.
Okay, so talk us through this.
We're going with the Monkey 47, which is a premium gin. You obviously can use any gin depending on your personal taste. Roughly 35 mils of that. And then we've got the lavender liqueur.
And is this what really gives it the twist?
This is what really gives it its flavour and the colour as well.
Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I'm sold already. It's just the colour.
And then we've just got some gum just to sweeten it down a bit. And some lemon, just for that bitterness.
And is this something you're getting asked for a lot? Because one of the things in the research I've done for the Trend Report has shown me that gin is one of the biggest and most popular drinks to hit the wedding scene. Like gin bars is something that's huge.
It goes through, everything goes through stages.
Yeah,
we've had vodka, we've had rum, now we're sort of moving on to the gin stage, but I pretty much think gin is here to stay. It's literally as you say, you're starting to see actual gin bars opening now rather than one just opened in my hometown, which is amazing. And it's more about, people are more informed. People want to know more about their products. They want to know where they come from, where they're sourced, where the ideas for a lot of old cocktails are resurfacing with new twists. Because of the same reason, people who are manufacturing the gins are researching more into where the recipe comes from and talking about the recipes more and making a point of making that part of their brand rather than just going, here's a gin and tonic.
God, it's amazing, isn't it, how far we've come. We all think we're foodies. We all think we know everything about all these types of things now, but we are much more informed, aren't we? You know, with everything that's here on the internet, it makes it so much easier for us to find out about these things.
Worst thing to be a cocktail bartender is nowadays, because someone can sit there and go, Google, can you make me that?
Oh, no! Well, that would be hard work. I'll let you do this bit.
So with this one, we do what we call a dirty pour, which is we just pour what's in the shaker into the glass, and we're going to garnish it with thinly sliced lemon.
Look at that colour. It's fabulous.
And then we just top it with soda water.
My turn first, Pamela.
There you go. And then you've got a gin vial.
I just love the look of that. Well, I'm sorry, everyone, but I am going first. It's gin time. Oh, my God. Pam, can you do the rest of the show, please? I have to share this with everybody. Pam, here we are. Well, you know what? That really does nearly bring us to the end of the live Wedding Trend Report show for 2017. You know, I hope you've enjoyed what we've brought you here in the studio. And remember to receive your free copy of the report delivered to your inbox on the 4th of January. You do need to subscribe. So you can head to our website, www.weddingacademylive.com, and click on the Trend Report link at the top of the page to subscribe. So that just leaves me to thank all of my guests, Zoe, Pamela, and of course the wonderful Mix and Twist with me here in the studio. And I can't forget my special guests joining us by live feed, Louise Bukes and Bernadette Chapman. Now, for details of all my guests, please see the website links at the end of the show. Now, before I go, I have some really exciting exclusive news to share. In 2017, we are going to be launching the world's first Wedding Business Live TV show. It'll be starting in March, and once a month we're going to be going into studio to stream a live TV show across YouTube and Facebook that will see us chatting to experts from around the world, both in the studio and of course by crossing via live feed. Each show is going to have a loose business theme and no topic is off limits. From pricing to social media, we're going to cover it all. So stay tuned for more information, and we all look forward to seeing you all in 2017. Bye!